So we're still on Chapter 8, and right now we're on expenditures during the useful life. So what are we talking about here? We've bought the truck, we've bought the building, we've put it on the books at its cost, as we talked about before, and now we've been running it a while and we have some additional expenditures. So we could have to pay for an oil change, maybe it's an engine rebuild, maybe we're painting a building, the office building. There's all different kinds of things. You're repairing a machine, you're adding new parts. And so our basic question is, are we going to capitalize these or are we going to expense them? What's the difference? It's a very big difference. If we capitalize the expenditure, we're going to add it to the cost of the asset and then depreciate it over the remaining useful life. If it's just a routine expense, we're going to just expense it on the income statement and write it off, this period. So in order to call it a capital expenditure, somehow it has to increase the future economic benefit, since that's the definition of an asset. It's got to increase the useful life. Maybe it increases the productivity, the efficiency, or the quality of the output. So to call it a capital expenditure, somehow it has to increase the future economic benefit. It's an expense if it just keeps things running the way they currently are. Okay? So if we have a company car and we do an oil change, that's an expense. If we have a company car and the engine blows up and we need a new engine, so that would increase the useful life of the car, since it would not have kept going as it was. So these are the basic distinctions that we make. So if you look at the notes on this, I've got a few examples. So if we change the oil on the truck, it's going to be an expense. If we rebuild the engine and it adds 5 years to the life of the truck, well, we could call that a capital expenditure. Repainting a building, even if it costs a lot of money, if it's a big building, it's still maintaining the current level of productivity. It's not making the building, last any longer than it otherwise would have. It's keeping the current level going. Major upgrade to an electrical or plumbing system, that could be justified as a capital expenditure. And then if we add an expensive part to a machine that increases the quality of the output, we could call that a capital expenditure. But just the things that go with our expenses, the revenue expenditures, would be things like routine maintenance, ordinary repairs, and things like that. So this section seems pretty easy, but I'd encourage you to listen to the next video, which shows how this can all go horribly wrong. And the reason that I do sort of the extra on there is that, if you get into a place where you're working for someone and they say, oh no, just do the journal entry this way, and you kind of know it's not quite the right way, it can have big ramifications. So listen to the next video.